Oh, do I feel good today? What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting. And it's not close. As you can see, we are still on the road. A little housekeeping before we get to the stars of the show. First and foremost, thank you to all of you who made the Players what it was. An incredible week, biggest week of the year on the PGA Tour. We got to call it, and you guys absolutely loved it. So thank you. Now, as far as the show yesterday, it was a light show, 1 and 3. But what's not shown here are the probably 15 to 20 winning tickets from the early wedge. Our golf show absolutely destroyed it. Way too many winners to put on the screen. But every single Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I encourage you to watch that because we destroyed our picks from our golf show as well. Now, I've seen all the trash talk on social media. I've seen everybody thinks you're better than me, thinks you're better than Mikey, thinks you're better than Sia, thinks you're better than Maestro, thinks you're better than Buck. Well, you might be better than Buckets, but we want you to prove it. That's right. Right there. There is the QR code. You can download it, or you can simply go to cbssports.com/earlyedge and enter right now. Many of you reached out to me on Twitter, said, Coach, is it too late? It is not too late. Remember, though, the tournament sort of starts on Tuesday. Tuesday, but you can still have till Thursday to turn in your bracket. They don't care about the playing games as far as the bracket is concerned. At least I don't think so. All right. With all that being said, you guys know I've missed you. I've missed you so much. I've also missed the stars of the show. Let's bring them in right now. You know them. You love them. And it's a Monday. This is the end of our week. But we stay laser focused. First and foremost, I mentioned the early wedge. And this man had a run this week like we haven't seen in a very, very long time. He is the counselor of cash. Sia Nejad, good morning.
Good morning. And it was a good run. But I got to be honest, from an early wedge standpoint, we had a similar run the week before, and we had a similar one the week before that. So again, I've gotten so many tweets. I've received so many tweets from people who are like, and this, I've retweeted them. You can see it for yourself, who have said, I've really never bet golf, but I caught the early wedge, and not only am I winning, but I'm having fun tracking these bets. So yeah, last week, or I should say this week, I hit 11 bets in a row, including college basketball, the early wedge, golf, in-tournament betting. And then I lost one yesterday that I should have won, frankly. It was Wyndham Clark over Brandon Wu. Wyndham Clark was amazing, but he couldn't putt, and his short game wasn't very good, and Brandon Wu put the lights out. So I feel like we could have gone 12-0, but 11-1 is good, and I got to pick today, and I'm hoping I can start a new streak. Let's go.
Because he is the I love that. Let's go. All right, now next. I actually texted him yesterday and I said, this soccer stuff is absolutely bananas. Buckets, when Juventus is up 2-0, and I play Juventus over 1.5 for the game, like Juventus to win and over one, I'm gold. I went and did something else. I called 3 more holes. Then it went to 2-2. What is going on in the world right now? Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Larry and Sia. It's great to be here. It almost feels like in the soccer world right now, you might as well just take a coin and start flipping to make your picks because like you mentioned, Coach, it's just been so haywire right now. Over this weekend, we saw Liverpool, Manchester United, Roma, Dortmund, PSG, Union Berlin, all these top clubs in the world just dropping points and conceding goals like it's nothing. So it's a fun space to be right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is bananas, but we will continue to navigate through it. And by the way, if you didn't hear the announcement, April 11th, our brand new 24-hour, 7 days a week soccer streaming network will start. And I guarantee you Buckets is going to be a big part of that. Now, this man, normally he likes to focus on the NBA, but not when March rolls around. No. This is his bread and butter. He is the Maestro, Larry Hartstein. You got your bracket ready?
Not quite ready, Coach, but I do have 2 picks up on SportsLine for the tournament. I have another one that I'm going to be entering onto the site that I've already bet just after the show. And it's not just the NCAA. We got NIT. We got CBI. No more the Basketball Classic. It doesn't appear, but we still got 3 tournaments. We got a huge slate even tomorrow night, not just the first 4, but the other tournaments.
This might be the strongest NIT field that we've ever had in the history of basketball. It's bananas. North Carolina, Michigan, just to name a couple in the NIT. Let's go. Now, we've got you covered top to bottom here at the Early Edge. We're turning Early Edge in 5 at 4 p.m. the rest of the week into a preview for you at home. NCAA tournament time. Look at this. Now on Tuesday, the first 4 preview. Then Wednesday, another first 4 preview. See, we're thinking about it. Then when we get to Thursday, in the middle of day 1, we'll get you ready for the evening slates. That's why the PM is in there. My man AB and Snake doing the work, setting us up, and we'll knock it down. Now, let's get into it. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today. I got to tell you already, it didn't take a long time, Maestro, for the lines to start to move on certain teams. Talk to me.
Yeah, fascinating to watch the early money come in against Duke for Oral Roberts, against Texas for Colgate. That down from 15 to 13.5 when Colgate, a very experienced team in the tournament that can shoot the lights out. Of course, they're going to be overmatched physically by the Longhorns. But two moves that I agree with for sure, and that is the money that came in against Miami on Drake. That went from 3.5 to 2.5. Miami leading rebounder, their rim protector, Norchad Omier. This guy is very important. He hurt his ankle early against Duke, and then they got dominated on the glass 36 to 24. Larinaga yesterday did not sound optimistic, and Omier showed up at the watch party rolling in on a cart, so he wasn't even walking on it. That does not look good, although they do have till Friday. They could still beat Drake, obviously, without him, but that's a big, big loss against an experienced Drake team that's on an unbelievable tear. And then the other move that I think everyone and their brother is on is Kent State against Indiana. That opened all the way up at 5.5, down to 4 at Caesars, 4.5. Kent State is a team that went to Houston and lost by 5. They went to Gonzaga and lost by 7. They are not afraid. This is a great chance for them against a Hoosiers team that has 2 NBA picks in the front court, talking about TJD and Jalen Hood-Schifino, but the backcourt is not that great, and Kent State has an elite senior backcourt led by Sincere Carey. Kent State plus the points, definitely a good look, but I would love to get more than 4, at least 4.5.
See, that's such a great storyline, see, and it feeds right into what you're going to talk about, because all of these teams, like a Kent State or like a Drake or like a Oral Roberts, I see people in the chat talking about them as well. There are teams that are really, really good. And there are other teams, like we talked about in the NIT, that just didn't have the resume to back it up, which leads to what, Sia?
Well, it leads to a lot of March mayhem as opposed to madness. I mean, I think everybody in the chat, for the most part, because I've checked with each and every one of you, you're probably already in our bracket challenge. And I think what we used to do like a decade ago is we used to look at the seeding and feel pretty comfortable that, you know, a 5 would generally beat a 12, a 6 would generally beat an 11, and so on and so forth down the line, and having the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds advance. But it's just a different game now. And I think you really need to evaluate the teams. Honestly, one way to do that is to get on SportsLine. And this isn't really meant to plug SportsLine or CBS Sports necessarily, but you really have to kind of dig in, and that's what we're here to do too, is find out like where these teams are in terms of their trajectory right now as opposed to earlier in the season. How much have they matured? How are they playing? What injuries do they have? Because there are a lot of important injuries from a lot of big-time teams, including a team I liked a lot, UCLA, who not only is going to be without Jalen Clark, but might have Adam Bona out as well, and that Houston has injuries. UVA, there's a lot going on here. So, by the way, plug for CBS Sports, because if you go to cbssports.com and you click on their bracket, you'll actually see a summary and a ranking of every single team from cbssports.com. And of course, SportsLine as well has so much content from Larry, from Mikey, from really everybody, including myself, as we get through the picks. There's a lot of information to ingest. So don't just look at the seeds. That's really the larger point I'm making, because it's not going to be what you think.
And we have a very special sale for you just for March. It'll be $999 for you to get all of our. No, we don't do that here. You guys know how much I hate that. Do not spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to get information when we have the very best right here at SportsLine. Don't do it. It's idiotic. All right. Now, we have a little segment on the show. By the way, Buckets, have you filled out your bracket yet?
I have not finished it yet, Coach.
Well, according to your social media, you've already talked trash on Sia. I don't know why you're talking trash on Maestro. You're yet to talk trash on me, but I'm sure that's coming. You really feel confident that you can do something in this?
I do feel confident. I have to make sure I'm looking up who all the mascots are to finish my research here, Coach, but feeling good about my picks.
I feel like Buckets should be on. You know, you've seen those commercials where like the woman is like doing something and all of a sudden she gets hit with, oh, the bear is brown. The Bears are up. Yeah, you seen that commercial where that's what I feel like Buckets is going to do with his bracket. Oh, the light is on. The lights, -3. Let's pick them. Okay. Now, I'm sorry, Buckets. I'm sorry. All right, before we get to our marquee matchups, I got to pay those pesky little bills. Here's a word from one of our incredible partners. Oh my God, the next 3 weeks are my most favorite 3 weeks of the entire year. But tonight, there's no college basketball. Tonight, it's all about the NBA, and we've added a little segment to our show called Marquee Matchups, and that's where we arrive right now. See, I'm going to start with you because tonight it's the Grizzlies and the Mavericks, and there's been some trash talk because one of the players for Memphis, who's been in the news lately, been fighting with everybody, says he wants to pick up Kyrie Irving full court all night to wear him down. Now, the name is escaping me. Can you help me out with that?
Well, I assume you're talking about Dylan Brooks,
There you go.
Who just loves to talk trash, which I don't mind. I mean, that's really the personality of the Memphis Grizzlies. And I got to admit, I was pretty impressed with how they played the last time out. Obviously, they don't have Ja Morant. They don't have Brandon Clark is out for the season. So they're in a really tough spot. I don't know when Ja Morant is coming back, but when he does, it's certainly going to energize this team. As far as tonight is concerned, Dallas doesn't really scare me. I mean, last game out, I believe they were out without Kyrie and Luka, so we'll see who actually plays today. But this is a team that just doesn't play defense, and I think this is going to be a pretty close game, frankly, and it wouldn't shock me at all if Memphis wins.
And Maestro, the Mavericks have really been, since the Kyrie Irving trade, kind of up and down and trying to figure out who they are. But with the Luka injuries, and I don't say injury, I say injuries, they can't figure out how they get into a flow heading into the playoffs. Your thoughts?
Yeah, but this is a nice payback spot after Memphis won on a crazy performance by David Roddy. The rookie had 24 points. He basically didn't miss a shot down the stretch, and Memphis just beat Dallas. And now they have to go to Dallas, and Luka is out again, but Kyrie is questionable. I expect him to play. I think the line is expecting him to play. And, of course, Morant is out. I just think it's a nice payback spot. Dallas easily could have won that game without their two best players, and now they get Memphis at home. So I'm going to lean towards the Mavs.
All right. Mavericks are just laying one. It's basically a pick in the total at 224.5. And don't forget, normally at Early Edge in 5 is where we put our NBA picks most days. So we can wait for the starting lineups, which, as many of you know, is so very important, just like in soccer. All right. We've got another game tonight, and it's out on the West Coast. And I was a little surprised at the number, to be honest with you. The Warriors laying 4 at home, over 236, because they are so much better at home than they're on the road, and it's not close. Sia, start me off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is kind of a surprising line given how the Warriors have played overall. But, Coach, you're exactly right. They've played so well at home. I mean, this is a team that is completely different on the road than they are at home. And I thought they caught a little bit of their swagger back last time out where they had to – I mean, listen, it was against the Bucks, and the Bucks didn't have Giannis. But I'll tell you what, the Bucks are really good even without Giannis. This is such a deep team. It's such a well-coached team. I don't think anybody's beaten them in the East. That's sort of what I've come around to. But I know that's not the question you're asking, because I actually have a pick for this game. I will say that I think the Warriors, they're down a couple of pieces here. Certainly, Kuminga's probably not going to play. Andrew Wiggins is certainly not going to play. I think this is a good spot. It's an important game for both teams. So this is going to be one of those games. I don't want to say it's going to have a playoff atmosphere, but it's going to be just a notch below that because both these teams want to win this game.
Yeah, and we know, Maestro, that the Suns, they have real issues with the Warriors. They've kind of been their nemesis for years, and it doesn't stop just because it's the regular season.
Yeah, but they've taken out some of that frustration this season. They've swept them 3 straight times, even though Steph Curry had a 50-point outburst, and that was when Mikal Bridges was still on the Suns. The Suns have done well this season. They won already in Golden State by 12. The Suns getting 4.5 is a good look. They are the number 1 team in net rating since the All-Star break, even without Kevin Durant. When you've got the big 3 in terms of Ayton, Booker, and Paul, you always have a chance. In Golden State, though, like Sia said, 28-7 at home. That is tough to ignore as well, but this should be a great one. Both teams want it really badly this game.
Yes, they do. And as I mentioned tonight, there are, count them up, 7. I said 6. There are 7 games tonight. So a full slate of the NBA. So don't worry. You'll be able to scratch that itch. Now, CID in the chat says, Coach, where's Gracie and Allie at? Relax. Don't worry about it. Great. We're still working on her contract, to be honest, but she's become the most popular capper we have. Way more popular than Buckets. Did you know that Amazing Grace is just right now at the top of our list, Buckets? Did you know that?
I did not know that, no.
Interesting. You should pay attention to Early Edge in 5. I know your contract doesn't allow you to be on that show, but you should pay attention to it. And Allie will be back. Don't worry. She just actually texted me yesterday, and she goes, Coach, I'm so ready for the playoffs. I said, we're ready for it too. So don't worry, Grace, Allie, they'll be here. All right, now let's get into our board for the day because I am fired up for today. I even have a pick today, and I haven't had a pick in a while. All right, but buckets, I will not take any more time to allow you to jump in and allow you to start. And I want to remind people, because no matter what the sport, no matter where it is, everybody has peaks and valleys. But if you were at your work and you're an accountant or a doctor, would you run away just because you had a little bit of a dip? I don't think you would. You wouldn't be allowed to. We won't do that either. We're going to figure this soccer thing out right here, right now, today. What do we got, Buckets?
Well, Coach, luckily we are hitting a little bit of a peak here as we have had 3 days of profit in a row on this absolutely insane sport. But how we've been doing it is what you and I talked about last week, and that's pulling back our money from these big leagues and focusing on the smaller leagues, because the big leagues right now, there's just no consistency. Everyone's tired. Everyone's hurt. It's just too difficult to find consistent teams right now. However, we have the Turkish Super League back, Coach, which means we are, of course, betting on the matchup between Istanbulspor and Sivasspor this afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we are going with is it Eastern Standard? The time change. Forgot all about that.
Oh, my God. I knew something would throw you off today. I didn't know it was going to be daylight savings time.
Daylight saving time's got me. But regardless, whether it's Eastern Standard, no matter where we are, we like both teams to score in this matchup with Istanbulspor and Sivasspor here this afternoon. These are two clubs that unfortunately were massively affected by the earthquakes that hit Turkey and parts of Syria here, as both of these teams have had to make emergency loan pickups to where they're picking up 4, 5, or 6 brand new starters that are starting this month. So these are two teams that are very hard to find consistency because these guys have never played together for a full 90 minutes yet. So expect a little bit of struggle in the cohesion on both sides. But ultimately, Coach, we do expect goals here because these are two teams facing relegations that are going to be missing the vast majority of their defensive back lines here. This could be one of those crazy 3-3-4-4 kind of matchups, but BTTS at -130, great value here.
Yeah, pretty good advice from Eric in the chat. He says, Buckets, make sure you grab Sivasspor in your March Madness bracket. You'll have them to win the East. I've got them at Madison Square Garden to win the Northwest, which is not even a part of the bracket. All right. Hang tight, Buckets. I got something for you. All right. Now, Sia Nejad. I know that you can do college basketball. I know you're a savage on the golf course. But I challenged you this morning because I want to grow. I want to grow your repertoire. So I forced you to make an NBA pick today. And you said, Coach, bring all the smoke, baby. Bring all the smoke. So what do you got today, big boy?
Well, I'm not sure you forced me because I brought the pick to you and you said you better make sure that's on the show today. So here's the thing. We talked about it. It's one of our marquee matchups. And I will say the line has fluctuated a little bit. I like the Warriors -4. Now, you might see it at 4.5 at places like DraftKings, for example, but at Caesars, it's actually -4. And I do like that number better than 4.5. But I'm going, if you're afraid of the 4.5 number, I'm going to tell you how to bet this game. So just hang tight real quick. Again, we talked about it, or I talked about it, and Larry talked about it at the jump. The Warriors are really, really good at home. I do think they're about to hit their stride. Now, granted, it's hard to hit your stride when you don't have Andrew Wiggins and you don't have Kuminga, who's probably not going to play tonight. But I really like what I saw last game out of Looney, out of JaMychal Green. And frankly, DiVincenzo is playing really well as well. Jordan Poole, his minutes have been down, but it wouldn't shock me if he has a good game today. I just don't think the Suns, as currently constructed, can hang with the Warriors at Golden State. Completely different analysis on a neutral court, which isn't a thing, or at Phoenix. But here, without Cam Johnson, who they traded away, without Mikal Bridges, who they traded away, without Kevin Durant, who's injured, I just don't think they have enough to survive the runs of the Golden State Warriors over 4 quarters, because that's what they do. They have dips, and then they have 12-0 runs and 15-2 runs and things of that nature, which is actually what you saw against the Bucks in the fourth quarter. Granted, that was the Bucks without Giannis, but they definitely played really well. One thing I will say, though, especially if you can't get this line at 4, if it's at 4.5 right now, which I actually think there's a difference here, live bet this game. So I like it at 4. You can get it a lot of places at 4. And frankly, that 4.5 might drop to 4. So even at DraftKings, you might be able to get it there. But because of how the NBA really plays in general, and because of how Golden State can kind of have some bad first halves in particular, it's very likely that in the first half, you're going to be able to get the Golden State Warriors at money line or -2, -2.5. Now, I like the -4, but I just want to say if for some reason you get it only at 4.5 or you just don't like the line, you're probably going to be able to get Warriors money line at some point, maybe earlier rather than later in this game. So it's just something to keep an eye on. By the way, birthday narrative, I will say that Steph Curry turns 35 tomorrow. So it's not today, but there's still a slight birthday narrative there. And I'll tell you, I do think he caught a little bit of his swagger back. He had like kind of a Kobe growl on his face in the midst of that comeback and that run against the Bucks. And I do think maybe possibly they've turned a page here. I expect them to cover.
Maybe, possibly, they could. A lot of words that I don't like to hear when somebody is confident in a pick.
Well, I said maybe possibly they've turned a page. I didn't say maybe possibly they would cover. So there's a big distinction there because even if they haven't quite turned that page, they'll still cover. But it's just a matter of whether we're going to see playoff Golden State with the great spacing and the great contributions from guys like Jordan Poole and DiVincenzo, or if we're going to see the Warriors that we've seen over the last few weeks, which, by the way, at home, they beat a very good Clippers team just a couple of weeks ago by double digits. So it's kind of the same situation, whether you got the current Warriors or the turn the page Warriors, they should cover this line. How about that?
Wow. Somebody in the chat actually said that you capped me, which I think is a hip-hop term for you stopped me in my tracks. Twice he did that. Who's the Sia that I'm watching this morning, and I'm here for it?
It's NBA Sia.
Coach.
It's NBA Sia.
Oh, this is NBA
This is
Sia.
NBA Sia.
Buckets, what do you want?
I have a real quick question for Sia here, if that's okay.
Okay, of course. Yeah.
Sia, do you know what FOMO is?
Yes.
FOMO is, for those of you that don't know, is the fear of missing out. And yesterday, I just want to say that I watched you give out that golf pick, and I had a bunch of people tell me, Buckets, I know you've lost 500 showdowns in a row, but this is your chance to bounce back, and this is your chance to finally win. And I ignored chat. I said, no, I'm not doing it again. And now I'm experiencing FOMO, knowing that I finally could have won a showdown against you, Sia. So with my expansive NBA knowledge,
No way.
I just want to say that I think you're wrong here. I think that the Suns arguably are hotter than the Warriors, right? That makes sense. I think we all are on the same page here.
Of course. Great analysis. Keep going.
Thank you. Yeah,
Sure,
Suns are big, hot fire. It makes sense.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Coach, I think you'll agree with me here. Suns win this one outright. Am I crazy there?
No, you're not crazy at all. Don't give the 4 points back, though.
Oh, not outright. I mean,
okay. Yeah,
not
yeah,
outright.
No.
Suns win this by less than more than 4. However that works, Sia. I just think
Yes.
you're wrong here. I want to be on the opposite side of this one because I'm not missing out on another $100.
Can I say the chat's going to be mad here, Coach, but I actually want to lose a showdown to Buckets because I'm getting a lot of hate messages saying you are taking advantage of this young man and they don't appreciate it. So honestly, like I kind of want to lose this one. I'm going to win, but I'm just saying I kind of want to lose.
Sia, that is worth a fine right there.
I'll pay it because I have so much money from Buckets.
I did get a message over the weekend, Sia, a DM saying, hey, Buckets, just want to make sure everything's okay. Maybe have Sia try soccer for a chance. I just feel bad for you. So
I feel
whoever
bad
reached
too.
out to me, don't worry because I'm winning this afternoon. Sia, are you in?
Well, it's 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, so it'll be evening, but I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Jake, play the music.
Buckets, you don't even know the little things that he's doing to you that, like the little Eastern Standard Time thing he just did. You don't even realize how great he is. He talks over all of our heads so well that you don't even know he just took a shot at you.
I'll never forget Sia saying it's not about whether we le have or le have not. And just quickly,
no doubt.
I just want to say last thing real quick here, Coach,
Yeah.
just to back up my wonderful shout out. Sia, I cannot wait to see Kevin Durant put you in your place tonight, baby. Let's go, Suns.
I can't wait for that either. That would be amazing.
That truly would be amazing. It really would be. And I think all of us will be waiting for that for at least 3 weeks, maybe 4. Buckets, you do realize Kevin Durant is hurt. Yes.
What do you mean he's hurt?
He's out. He's not playing. He hurt himself 5 days ago, in a pre-game workout. Everybody knew it was front page.
We all knew that, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you say, even without Kevin Durant, the Suns will cover this number. Go ahead and say that for me.
Even without Kevin Durant, the Suns will cover this number.
Not
Confidence.
like a 12-year-old little boy heading into puberty. Say it like a man.
Even without Kevin Durant, Sia, the Suns will cover tonight.
Yeah, still.
Does that even
no.
scare you? It doesn't work.
Nah, not even a little bit.
Work. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. All right. Jairi says, we still like it, Buckets. They still like the Suns, even without Kevin Durant. You are the gift that just keeps on giving. All right. I've got one play today for me. And I've been telling you guys about this for several weeks. And the other night, privately, because I was calling golf, as many of you know, I played this just to see if my handicapping would live up to its expertise. And it did. So I'm going to play it again tonight. I'm going to give it out to all of you. We're going to Detroit City. As many of you know, my lovely Crystal is from Detroit. She says it all the time. Tell them I'm from Detroit. They don't care, sweetheart. They don't care. But what I do care about is the first half total, which I believe is over 116. Why? The Pacers are an incredibly fast starting team, and they choose not to play defense in the first half also. So every one of their games right now is sailing over in the first half, and then they just kind of pick it up throughout the second half, and the total hasn't been coming in. So we're going to slice this game in half. We're going to play the over 116 minus 110. So right around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Buckets, I'll be able to cash, and I don't have to wait till the end of the game. Next level capping right there. Next level capping. That's what they say. That's what they say. All right, Maestro. I feel like you and I have not shared the screen for a minute, so it feels good. Feels like home to have me and you back today and seeing, well, Buckets. And I love the fact that you have really kind of split your time between the NBA and now everybody wants that fierce, competitive Maestro when the March Madness shows up every single year. And I'm here for it. This is the Maestro spot. You, sir, last time I checked, are the Maestro. You're up.
All right, starting in the NBA tonight in Atlanta, Anthony Edwards. This is a narrative play. He's coming home. He grew up in Atlanta. He played at Georgia, and we know he's the alpha for the Timberwolves. But Coach Chris Finch said after the last game when he had 32 points and they lost in overtime, he said, we need more than 2 assists from you. And he does average 4.6 assists over his last 8 road games. He has been a good distributor, but he got a little bit too carried away with scoring last time out. I think he's going to put on an all-around performance in Atlanta in a high-scoring game. I went over 3.5 assists. You can get this in minus 138 at FanDuel. It's higher at other books, but I really like Anthony Edwards to distribute a little bit more tonight and, of course, score 25-plus points. And then looking ahead to the tournament, like I said, I've got 2 plays up on the side. I have another one about to post, but one I really like, VCU plus the points. You can get 4 at one book, but mostly 3.5. So I'll still take the 3.5. This is a team that started off very poorly. They were 5-4. People said they were just going to be mediocre. Well, they've won 9 straight. And since February 1st, this is the 10th best defense in the entire country. And in fact, I don't know if you saw what they did to Dayton yesterday. Dayton went 0-15 to finish the game. That's a good Flyers team, and they just humbled them with that defense. Now, St. Mary's comes in. They have a win over Gonzaga. They are from a better conference. They had a better season, but they want to play slow, and VCU is going to make it uncomfortable for them. There's a low total. There's 122.5, so you can get 3.5, 4 points in a low total in a game that's going to be 61-60 or 62-59. I like VCU. I like the way they're playing. I still think they're getting overlooked.
Well, I agree. Antonio in the chat says, I love the VCU pick. Hell yeah, Maestro. We love it, too. I cashed in the last 2 days in their conference tournament, too. I mean, they are playing really great basketball, and this is really the type of game that Maestro has found that as you start to handicap your own March Madness, really do some work. Watch all of our shows. Go to SportsLine. There's so much information, but you just can't look at the names anymore. That's not how it works. You can't just look at the names. There's so many good teams. All right, grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here's the recap, courtesy of the Snake. And don't forget, we have Early Edge in 5 with more best bets coming up later today. The Maestro, 2 big plays today. VCU plus 3.5 in their game in March Madness. Then Anthony Edwards over 3.5 assists. That's minus 138. Then Sia Nejad, late night tonight. He's got the Warriors minus 4. My man Buckets challenged him again. He's got the Suns plus the 4. We're going to have a showdown. Then Buckets, Turkey Super League. Many of you are asking in the chat if we can add the league to the recap. No, we cannot. We're not going to do that. But what I will do is I will say the league every time he gives out a pick after he says the league 3 times when he gives out the pick. That's all we can do is give it to you 4 times. Turkey Super League starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Istanbulspor, Sivasspor. Both teams have scored minus 130. Then 1 play for me, and I know Halliburton's out. I don't even look at that anymore. I'm so disgusted by the NBA. Somebody said, "Oh, Coach Halliburton." I know he is the straw that stirs the drink. I don't care. I'm playing it. First half over 116. And a reminder, I will tweet out. I will be hosting shows, basketball shows from the studio. First time ever. It'll be back in my old Sports Center days. Back in the studio, CBS Sports HQ on Tuesday, Wednesday. I will let you know when that content will be coming out for all of you at home. Again, thank you to all of you for making the show a resounding success. This is one of our money months. This is where we really earn it with all of you. So with all of that being said, I'm fired up. I'm laser focused. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For our entire crew, I love them all. Buckets, Maestro, the counselor, the Snake behind the scenes on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. Dig your feet in. Get ready to go. Because everybody in 3 cash. Because it's what we're all about. We grind for you so we can win with you. Right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.